Good morning, everybody. My name is Ingo Paas. I'm working with the ICA Group and specifically in the pharmacy business. And if you haven't been to one of our pharmacies, you're more than welcome to just say hello, right? And we love to serve you. Good. Why am I talking about these things? Simply because I want to share a story with you. So I've been to the US, and it was arranged by two global companies, SAP and Hewlett-Packard. So we've been a bunch of CDOs, CIOs, and CTOs thinking that we know everything about all of this kind of stuff that you would imagine that would happen in the valley. It was something different. Before I go into my presentation, I just want to explain how we felt. So we went there and we thought, yeah, we have a plan. It's going to be really cool stuff. And we are the people who know about the future, who know about the change that's coming. So we thought, yeah, it's very cool, right? Cool people, we are cool people. No, I'm having a cool shirt, but I'm not really cool, right? The guys we've met and the girls we've met, they are really cool. And the thing is that when I look back, all the people we met were like Yoda. Does every one of you relate to Yoda? It's a master type of person, really mastering everything. Whatever we've heard, whatever we've seen, they were all on a Yoda level. Imagine how we felt. Like young Luke Skywalker trying to get this strange plane out of the water, right? It was very difficult. How was it then when we came home? We were surrounded by troopers. You get the picture? The troopers are the ones that you just shoot, which is no fun to shoot. But it's really what you see in Star Wars. It's a huge difference between a trooper and Yoda. And imagine the majority of people not really understanding what's happening in the valley, and we thought we had a plan. Okay, I have a number of slides we want to go through, and I just want to show you that we've been with major corporations. We have met, for example, the CEO of Hewlett-Packard. So we had really great meetings. We met with people at Andreessen Horowitz, the greatest, biggest investment company in the valley, really having a different approach on investment. They're just working hard with their investments. Stanford University, we spent one day, Singularity University, and we met about nearly 15 startups. It was 14. Okay? It was really amazing. So when we went through this, there was a story coming to us, and I realized it's not the right presentation, but I'll just go through it anyhow, okay? So it's just an update recently, but okay, we go for this. Two young fishes are meeting an older fish. Okay. The older fish is asking the younger ones, how is the water? And the younger ones want and ask, what is water? You get it? It's exactly what we've heard about Generation Z. Where's Greg? Yeah. This is the new reality, and it's also the reality for people in the valley. They think that AI or artificial intelligence as a general approach, and then deep learning, machine learning, or whatever else they want to deal with and play with, is supernatural stuff to work with. They don't think that there's a burden to overcome, right? They don't need to talk to their CFO to get money. So when you look what we found out, there are more than 50 years experience of innovation. It's an open community. They are technology-savvy entrepreneurs, and they have this kind of experience that is really interesting. They have failed many, many times. It's a unique venture capital program that they are setting up for each individual company. Some do it really good, like Andreessen Horowitz and Reed Wright. They really work actively with their investments. Very different just watching how things are going. And then also a unique mixture of cultures and global entrepreneurs. These people are coming from all over the world. And when we look around here, we have also some kind of diversity. I'm from Germany, and you are from Ghana. Look, she's from Ghana. So we have also some kind of diversity. We had an English gentleman on the scene here. But this is truly global. And then risk-taking is a really important topic for everyone in the valley. And then the experimental and failure approach. I have a little picture on this one. The Stanford University is an incubator in the valley. It gives a lot of energy, great people, and new thoughts to the existing and new companies. And they are cooperating with these tech giants. They all do this. So a lot of power, you can copy it, but it's very difficult to be much better than what they did the last 50 years, okay? So It's a cool picture. The average valley employment criteria, we've learned about this one. They're curious by nature, they're creative spirit, they have a cultural fit, they're potential creators, so they want to build stuff, right? And they don't care what it is, they want to build something. And then they have a founder mentality, drive collaboration, and much, much more. So you can see, these are crazy people. You would not put this on your next open position that you wanna fill, right? You would never think about those. You would actually look very much to the role-related knowledge. And I do it as well. So there's nothing wrong with it, but they think different. So startup executive teams, there's a difference between my T-shirt and his T-shirt. He is using a T-shirt. I'm trying to explain something with it, right? He is really behind this. These people are very different, right? Doing epic shit. He's the CEO. So when you see what they think, what is important. And then a collaborative community. It's quite interesting because they work together. They build networks, they find new networks, they help each other, they fail together, and they win together. And it's not a problem when you have failed, because the more you have failed, the more the investment companies would like to want to work with you. If I talk too fast, just raise your hand, but maybe we just do this a bit quicker so then you don't fall into sleep. A Stanford University D-School team. Wow, we've been to D-School at Stanford. Amazing stuff. We've had a one-day session there and an education program, and we should have spent another 1,000 days there, I would say. This one day doesn't get you anywhere. It's just confusing you more than anything else. But these are cool people, and this is a very different environment, and they work with these kind of concepts like design thinking. You can copy it, you can ask IBM or other companies how they work with design thinking, but here you can see these people finding other solutions to problems very different to what you would expect them to do. A very short explanation how they work with this. They tried to solve a problem with incubators for children in Africa. And they found out there was a specific country where they had lots of hundreds of thousands of deaths because of the babies didn't get the support they needed. So they thought it's because of it's too expensive, so let's build a cheaper one. Instead of $2,000, they went for $200. And then they built a new model, and then they did a redesign of their thinking and approach. And then they looked at the problem, and then they sent people to this country, and they found out it was not about the incubators, because they were in all the hospitals. They found out the people couldn't come to the hospital. But how could you put an incubator into every home? So they redesigned, they did a huge different rethinking of the whole problem, and found out we just do something very different. So what they built is like a sovsek. Who has the English word for sovsek? Yeah, sleeping bags. Yeah, thank you. So they created a sleeping bag with some stuff that was warming up during the night. And by doing this, they saved thousands of lives. Very different for $20 thing, rather than $2,000 into hospital. And you know, this is a way of design thinking, solving problems very differently to what you would usually do. Okay? Thinking big, starting small, solving real problems. This is what they all are doing. We've met some startups that were not really impressive, but others really having no boundaries. And it's also interesting how the big corporations are working with innovation. We've been to the Innovation Center from SAP, Hewlett-Packard, and some others. It's mind-blowing when you see and listen to these people. And why is it important? Because there are ideas spreading up, like Singularity University, founded a couple of years ago. This is not just about the money. This is about solving real problems, global problems. They are taking challenges on these kind of areas, and they do this successfully, and they develop new technologies that can be given away to people for very little money. It's about education, it could be health, it could be whatever. And when you see what they have recently launched, it's a new device which is quite interesting for the business I'm into. A device that is like you remember what you've seen Scotty when they were running around and just checking your health status on this Enterprise thing when they were flying around in the space, and just nearly solving any problem with a small technical device, and this kind of device is now on its way. And that's quite interesting, you know, what they are doing. So check out for Singularity University and do some Google stuff on this. Interesting enough, there are platform strategies foundational for startups and enterprises. And it's interesting what we've learned from Greg this morning. Everyone's talking about the same stuff. It's AI, we talk about analytics, we talk about virtual reality, augmented reality. And a couple of years ago, it was something else. It was mobility and cloud. And just think about this. You don't hear anyone talking about cloud and mobility anymore. Most of you have done that in your companies for your customers. That's a huge change. And AI and other kind of technologies are on its way to become very soon commodity as well. You wonder, for these kind of companies in the valley, it's already commodity, right? So you're going to see AI similar to mobility, to stuff like cloud and other things in a couple of years. And most Silicon Valley-based companies are building highly scalable business platforms. And they can scale up their business from very small to very big in every way they want. It's very different to what we are faced with when we are growing into e-business. At Butigiatat, for example, we are having a growth rate of 100% on e-commerce, which is quite good. But it's very different for us to scale up that kind of business in terms of skills, in terms of technologies, and how to meet the customer expectations and performance and other things. But they are building platforms that can scale into every dimension they want. And that's amazing. They are thinking about ecosystems. They don't think about a particular thing, right? Some of the startups are just into a particular problem, but the majority that we have seen and heard are thinking different. They don't care about industries, but they have unbelievable good industry experience in their teams. So the CEOs, the CDOs, the CTOs of these companies, the CFOs, they all have industry experience. That's quite interesting. They do, but they don't care about the industries anymore, right? Because they solve a problem that no one else has solved before. And that's opening up for new kind of game-changing opportunities. Insane technologies are advancing faster than ever before, and that's what we've heard, that's what we've learned. Here is a cool statement. You can find it on the web or on YouTube. It's from an interview. About 3 years ago, I did not recognize the importance of AI. Google. But then they just found a great company in the UK and bought DeepMind. Good stuff. And now they do everything possible to be the leader in deep learning. Front-end technologies used by some of the companies, I just give you some examples. It's not a full-scale thing, but they all have mobility, they all use AI, they have robotics and augmented reality and virtual reality. They all have that. And they don't even talk about it like this is big stuff. It's just like you need a table to eat, and they have AI to run their business. And the second thing, the back-end technology, right or wrong, it's my view on looking at it. So you might have a better definition of it. But the back-end technologies, blockchain, IoT, cloud, data analytics, machine and deep learning, they can't live without this. And they all combine it in different ways. And that was interesting. The major corporations were talking about all of that stuff, and they're implementing it and testing it and finding new ways. And the startups are using all of that stuff, right? It's amazing. And they're orchestrating those technologies and speeding up the innovation. They do this really fast. They don't wait for us, and they don't care about us, right? They are rewriting business logic, and we all heard this. Algorithms are the key for redesigning the way you do business and how you learn more about your customers, how you learn more about your products and learn about yourself and find out ways into new markets and new opportunities. And it's also quite interesting. Data is the new business DNA. We've learned this from Greg. We've heard this from Patrick this morning, and you're going to hear more about this during the day. I don't go into the details, but even for our business, this is something that we really have on top of our radar screen, but it's not like a table when you're eating lunch. It takes a while to get into this. It's not easy. So it's a fundamentally different approach. Designing solutions for tomorrow, this is also important to take with me, so with you. And so if you consider what these companies are thinking, they are building scalable business, I just read this, which is built long before technology is mature. Very important. Long before technology is mature and or critical data volumes are available and technologies are accepted by us, by users, by industries. This is quite interesting because, you know, they are doing things that you don't even know is possible to do. And when the stuff is there, when the data is there, they launch it, and the opportunity for them is just amazingly. And numbers of those companies are failing. But this is quite important. And, you know, when you look at this kind, Silicon Valley innovators are several years ahead of followers. For companies who are in that kind of business for many, many decades now, it's very different now. They're setting up strategic programs and major change things and everything else. But there was a statement from the Stanford University professor who said, these programs are often obsolete before you even start them. Right? You need 2 years to agree, and then you need 3 years to deploy, and then you find out, oh, we should have done this 8 years ago. Right? And these innovators are at the edge. They're always at the edge. And it's going faster. We've learned this about the exponential stuff. Look, you don't have to look great to be rich. Thank you, you're laughing. That's good. So, he is the founder of Andreessen Horowitz. And he made that statement, software is eating the world. Right, and that's true, right? And he talked about these kind of industries. We haven't met him, we met one of his executives. But they said that health, biotech, media, education, retail, they all are part of this. What about fintech, giving the major banks a huge challenge? We also have a retail bank in the ICA group. We know about this. The Fortune 500 tech companies are asset intensive, or entirely asset-free. So it's not just that you think that they all just have a cloud type of business. No. We asked the question because Andreessen Horowitz is investing into Uber. How about Uber? Because we also met Uber. How about autonomous cars? You can't make a contract with these autonomous cars, so you have to own them. They don't know how to deal with this. So from being an asset-free company with 30,000 employees, don't forget this, globally, in 100 countries, they have implemented a business-as-usual type of company. Asset-free, but now they need to make a decision, how do we take us into the future? Both didn't really comment on this question. Was interesting, right? And then the technology life cycle is getting shorter, and so is it also happening with the Fortune 500 and other companies. And we've heard this before, I don't need to go into this. But only a few of the startups made it into Fortune 500 so far, but there are many of these companies waiting. They're hungry. They have invested a lot of money. When you understand how much money is invested into health business, it's amazing. It's amazing. These billions of dollars will give a return. And this return means that they're going to eat your business. Pretty much as software is eating the world. Right? So, actually, I've been there, but it's not me I haven't taken that picture. And most startups fail. And now we come to this very interesting thing. You know, what does this mean for the industries? We can see now Amazon making a huge step in investment, and they have built a platform. They can just add this to their business, right? They have a scalable platform in business. They get some industry experts into this. It's soon going to be challenged by Amazon. From a pharmacy perspective. They are not in Stockholm now, but they probably come one day. And then there's this question of good failure and bad failure, right? So I use that to explain how I heard these companies talking about good failure. That's when you have an experimental approach with unknown outcome. Most of the stuff that we call innovation always someone has done it before, right? We know about the outcome. We just do it one more time and do it a little bit better. But good failure is something that I really love, and there are a lot of failures in the valley. Bad failure is when there's a well-understood project activity with a known desired outcome, right? This is a bad failure, and this is always, people are confusing this a little bit. Just do things and it's okay to fail. It's not about failing, it's about failing right. And we've learned this for healthcare innovation. As I mentioned, there's a lot of things coming for our industry. And you can also ask yourself the question, if you would invest into all of these technologies from the pharmacy perspective, we could design the pharmacy 2.0. But what is pharmacy 4.0? Maybe it's nothing to do with pharmacy anymore. Right? Maybe you could sell an insurance type of idea and say, I guarantee you're never going to be sick with all of these kind of problems that we know about and the other ones that we don't know about today, but we're going to add to our portfolio. And then you just pay and giving us your DNA, your genomic data, and we take care of you, right? Okay? So, change is not a choice. So you have to accept that and you have to do something about this. The impact of startups is exponential. And they have these kind of phases, digitized, deceptive, disruptive, and then they democratize and stuff is just becoming spread around the world and everyone is using it. And risk-averse management becomes risky. This is what Professor Banerjee said. He's a Yoda. So startups are invisible during deception phase. You don't see them, you know they're there, right? Just before they might become disruptive. Yes. And there was also a statement that I would talk about my son. It was the second story of what I was actually thinking, presenting today. I have only 2 minutes left, so it's probably very, very short. If I add another 2 minutes to the 2 minutes and use 4, is that okay? Yeah. Okay. It's a very personal type of story that I share with you. My son, he's soon turning 15. We have twins. One is born with a handicap that actually made him not being able to, also he's not able to communicate, to do anything on his own. So he's on the level of a 3-month-old baby, but he's now turning 15 very soon. I have learned a lot about life, about how to deal with impossible situations and change. For the most about change, which is about me as a person and the ones I love the most. And I came to the point where I accepted that whatever I'm going to do, it's not going to change his situation. And that was a fundamental thing for me to actually be able to deal with this unbelievable amount of complexity and whatever this kind of experience can bring with you. And the problems that he's having are so pass fundamental and so difficult to deal with, it's just going to be worse over time. And he's the most fantastic person I've ever met. Right? He's laughing when he's sleeping. He's laughing when he's getting food. And he's putting so much energy into a relation without being able to communicate. It's unbelievable and it's so strong. And there was this point where I realized I just have to accept things the way they are, right? But coming home from the valley, I found out that it was okay until I went to the valley. I'm going to put my energy in the future to find out how I could put all of this kind of, innovation, the fantastic stuff that many startups are working with, into a concept that will help to create a more autonomous future for my son. Imagine that you would have deep learning systems and sensor technologies and virtual reality, augmented reality, speech system and control, reading his data, interpreting what he wants and what the body says, learning from it and making it more personal with every day that goes. And one day he might be able to communicate and say what he wants to say. And maybe he will say, hello, Dad, one day. And that's the moment in my life which is going to be the best day ever. And having said this, I do believe in these kind of things, and I believe there is more to come. And I think if this is possible for my son to build a better future and to do something which is impossible to do, I think you can do it in your business as well. Thank you very much.